It's a fact. Fertiliser costs are always on the rise, and they make up a high proportion of total farm operating costs.
The AccuSpread accreditation system is a part of the whole FertCare program. We have 4 modules in the FertCare program, which is driver training. From a physical point of view, we train the drivers. We have agronomists out there that have been through the FertCare program, so they know what they're talking about and they understand all this spreader testing side of it. What we're actually doing is putting out a series of 50 trays across the paddock, drive the machine through those trays, collect what lands in the trays, weigh all those individual amounts, feed the data into a computer program, and that generates the graphs behind us which actually show the accuracy and tell the farmer how far apart he can actually drive to achieve our 15% coefficient of variation. Well, as we've seen today, the cost to the farmer, he's paying big dollars for this fertiliser and he's not actually applying it evenly to get the maximum production out of his pastures, so it could be as much as 20 to 30% in loss of production.
The cost of the fertiliser being distributed across your paddock evenly, I don't think a lot of farmers pay enough attention to detail on that, because it is a massive cost at the end of the day.
To assist farmers to get the most out of their fertilisers, the South West Catchment Council, in collaboration with the Department of Agriculture and Food, have staged a series of AccuSpread demonstration days here in the South West. The aim? To assist farmers with the accreditation of their fertiliser spreading equipment to help improve accuracy and evenness. One of the most experienced AccuSpread testers in Australia, Russell Nicol, was on hand to take the farmers through the accreditation system.
I'm Russell Nicol from the Australian Fertilisers Association. The South West Catchment Council have brought me over here to do some demonstration days on fertiliser spreaders and how even and calibration we can get with farmers' machines. So what we've done, we've run over out in the paddock. You've seen us go over the trays. We've entered the numbers into the computer program, the weights of each tray out there. The computer program generates the graph. We'll just do calculation, and that was the result we got out of our first test out of the Amazon spreader out there. Basically what we've done, we've driven straight up the centre there, and it was a bit windy when we were out there doing that test, so I think you can see we've got a little bit of wind variation happening. The idea is that we've done up there, each one of those square trays represents a box out there with a weight. We come across to this graph over here, and we're trying to achieve a variation of no more than 15% across the pattern after you spread it up and down or round and round. The red line is if we drive up and down the paddock, because when we drive up and down the paddock, we get the left-hand side of the machine back on top of the left-hand side. If we go round and round the paddock, which is racetrack, we get the left-hand side on the right-hand side. Hence, the low side compensates for the high side. So that's why the black line is showing us a spread pattern of about 20 metres. And the red line showing us a spread pattern of about 12 metres to actually achieve our 15% coefficient of variation. What I'd be looking at doing with this machine is probably doing some adjustments on the vanes to get that spread pattern out a bit wider across this top of the pattern. We need a bit more width across here. We're putting out too much right behind the machine at the moment to try and get us a spread pattern, you know, somewhere around 24, 25 metres perhaps, but we'll run another test with that.
Local farmer Kevin Depiazzi was one of those who took advantage of the demonstration.
We had our spreader here today, which is a little 3-point linkage Amazon spreader, and we sort of thought it was adjusted pretty good, but when we did the test we found it was a fairly uneven pattern. So we did some adjustments and retested it and found it much better. So it just means our fertiliser application now will be a lot more even. So that's going to save us fertiliser and because we were wasting some and other bits weren't getting enough. So it's evened it up.
Today we've been working with dairy farmers, but AccuSpread is also relevant to the whole of the farming industry. Here's Tony Hiscock of the Beef Council.
Wherever you can start to improve your accuracy of applying fertiliser, which is in turn going to increase and improve your production, it's going to minimise waste, and it's also going to minimise any potential for environmental damage as well.
It comes down to dollars per hectare once again. I mean, gee whiz, you're talking about your money. You're talking about wasting your money. Because why? Because somebody hasn't bothered to make the effort to check what the machine really can do. Otherwise, it's hearsay, it's guesswork, it's the she'll be right attitude. I don't think in this day and age shouldn't exist. It should be that you need to be on top of the game, knowing full well and exactly what's going on as far as spreading goes.
If you would like to know more about how you can have your fertiliser spreading equipment AccuSpread accredited, then contact the Customer Services Manager at the Australian Fertilisers Services Association in Canberra.